Good morning everyone, this is Ehab here at Mainly Hyundai as well as Genesis in Santa Rosa. Today we're going to be going over the Genesis G90 5.0 Ultimate all-wheel drive. As of right now, this channel is going to be more of informative as well as some type of entertainment as well for viewers. In this case we're going to be going into detail about features inside of the car just because I wasn't able to do a full walkthrough with my guests. So in this case, what we're going to go ahead and do is walk around and then we're going to go to the buttons and features starting now. Going over to the door handle in itself, there's actually 4 push buttons all around to actually unlock the car and lock the car. So in this case, if we wanted to lock the car, we can just push the button and it'll go ahead and lock. But in this case, if we happen to want to unlock the car, we can go ahead and even just pull the door handle or let it sense that the key fob is around to be able to pop the door. Now this is where it's going to get nice and sweet. Going into the car, we'll start and we can focus on our 22-way power drive seating positions. So going more to detail about the 22-way power seating, we can go forward, back, as well as up and down. This is what this is going to do, is going to recline our seat back or even pull it back forward. This button here is going to actually tilt the head rest for you depending on how you would like it. This is actually going to be helping us with our posture position depending on what you want. You can go ahead and play around with that. This is actually going to be what I call my thigh or leg rester, depending on how you want it, depending on the long road trips or any of that. Unless your driver or butler is going to be tired driving around, he'll have that thigh extender. In this case, this button right here is actually going to be tilting the top half, I would say, of your seat, depending on what you want to, how you want to position yourself, and this will kind of go more into how you want to set your posture up. Now going at this case, what I'll go ahead and do is step inside and then we'll go more into detail about the vehicle. So awesome, right this way. Awesome, so now that we're familiarized with our button seating positions, we can actually make our way to this button here to where we can actually set who's driver 1, who's driver 2, and once we have that, what we want to do is change the positions of the seat how we want it, and what we want to go ahead and do is hit set and then push 1, and then once you do that, there will be an icon up here that says driver 1 settings saved. And at this point of time, we can also make a note of this where it says smart seating. So if we happen to hit this button here, what's going to pop up is on our screen over here is about the smart posture care. What this is actually going to do is going to actually fit the driver's body type and provides a nice healthy posture. And you can go ahead and put your height, the length, and as well as your weight, and that'll go ahead and change the seating of how it would want you to be. In that case, kind of going more into detail about the buttons here. This is our display brightness, depending on how bright you want your display. Our blind spot detection, which right now it is on, so if anyone was in your blind spot, it would actually appear on your side mirrors. This button here is actually our lane keep assist, which right now, if we look on our display, it is on. But happen to want this off, if you don't want that, it's actually gone. But if you did want it, you can go ahead and push that button and it's there for you. Again, this is the traction control off button. If you're going to be doing donuts around your parking lot, go ahead and turn that off and get to fun. But in this case, again, our gas release button right here, our hold down trunk release button here, as well as our electric parking brake. So if we happen to want to engage it, all we got to do is lift up and it'll go ahead and disengage. If we want to disengage, there's actually 2 ways to do it. One is to put your foot on the brake and push down. The other, which is awesome, is to go ahead and if it was on, you can go ahead and push the gas a little bit as you're going to where it will disengage itself. That being said, going back to here, for our headlights, it is on auto, but you're always more than welcome to turn it on if you would like. For your auto high beam, you can go ahead and push forward and a light icon is going to pop up top. And if you want to disengage that as well, what you can do is push it back forward and it'll be gone. Now going into the steering wheel buttons, again, we have our talking button, whether you want to talk to the car or hold down once you want to go talk to your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. This is our volume button as well. If you wanted to mute music, you can go ahead and push down and the music will be muted. Again, we have a button here that says to answer your calls or decline, which will automatically pop up on our screen here, which I'll hit the home button for us. Now if I happen to push the mode button, what this mode button is going to do is actually go ahead and change it to what we want that button. So I'll let you play around with that, whether you want that as your Bluetooth audio, your projection, sounds of nature, if that is a thing that you would happen to like, and so forth. And then this button here is actually going to be changing our audio, whether you want Sirius XM, FM, AM, or even sounds of nature. So this button here is actually going to be changing what we see on our display for our cluster. So depending on what we want, whether we want lane keep assist on, or whether we want to see our tension level, or even the tire pressure, there's this button right here that actually goes ahead and changes this for you. Depending on what you want to see, I can let you go ahead and play with that as well. Now going back to this button here, this is our cruise button. Once we have that, once we're up to speed, we can hit cruise, go ahead and set it down, and then from that point on you can always adjust it depending if you want to speed up or slow down. And then we have our adaptive cruise control. So in this case, once we're in cruise control, what this button does, there's actually your different levels of how far away you want to be from the other vehicle ahead of you. So in this case, once that vehicle ahead of you slows down, the vehicle will slow down with it, and then once they speed up, car will speed up as well, all the way to what is appropriate depending on the level you have or the speed you're at. And again, we do have our shift paddles here, so depending if you want to actually feel the gears, you can go ahead and downshift or upshift, whichever you like. And then this button here is actually going to be our windshield wipers. Depending on what you want with your vehicle, you do have auto, which you can go ahead and push down and it'll go into auto. Perfect. So at this time, for both your passenger and your driver, you actually do have ventilated seats, or I like to say cooling seats as well. You have 3 different levels, and you also have heated seats as well. You also have a heating steering wheel for your driver, as well as the back sunshade. So if we happen to push the button, we can actually lift it up. If we happen to push the button, we can actually have it down and not have it up. Going to this button, this is actually going to be helping us with our console up top. So depending on what you want, which I'll go into more detail in just a second. Now going to this, if we happen to, we have our shifter and we also have our push and P, which is park. In this case, our different drive modes, our parking sensors, which we would want on, especially if you're in certain areas that you want to make sure if you're too close to some, it'll start making a beeping noise at you. And even if you are in park, you can go ahead and hit view. What that will actually do is go ahead and show you your rear camera as well as your 360 eagle eye view camera as well. And you can actually go ahead and push buttons as well to kind of show you different angles of the back. And now going to the AC, again, we have our AC button on. Depending if you want that on or not, it is all out of a push of a button. We can go ahead and push it off, but everything that you would need is all right here. Now going to these buttons here, we can actually even hit map, and what that's going to pull up is our maps. So even if we had maps open, we can actually push this little button here, and that's actually going to be our split screen. So you can even scroll up if you would like, or even use your dial circle that's right next to your heated steering wheel to actually change what you want to see on the screen. But we can go ahead and close this up, and let's say we wanted to actually put our home address in or work address in. If we hit the button navigation, what we can do is put save places, and from that point on you can actually add your home, add your work, and either your favorite places to be. With that being said, we'll just hit back here, and then for radio in itself, radio button, it's going to get us to Sirius XM. And if you happen to want to change what you see, whether it's FM, AM, or even Sirius XM, if you hit band, you can go ahead and choose your different options. Now going forward, if we hit media button, what this will do is show us all of our other medias, whether we have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, any disc, which I'll actually have to showcase where the DVD player is. If we happen to hit the star button is actually going to be our, in a sense, what you want that button to be, whether you want it to be Bluetooth audio, phone projection, connected services, anything you would like to be. Now going into more detail, I'd like to go push the button setup, and what this is actually going to do is how we see the vehicle. So once you get to your pad or dial, you can go ahead and push down, and what that's going to do is actually go into your settings. So with that, whether you want to go into your driver's assistance, this is actually going to give you your different warning sounds, different timing sounds, kind of everything that if the loud is too, or if the noise is too loud, or if the warning noise is too loud, you can always adjust that here. If we happen to use the dial one more time, we can actually always use it to go back, go up, down, anything that we would want. Scroll to the right for the drive mode, or even go down. And go ahead and change your custom mode depending on how you want that to be, where it would be yours. Whether you want to change the engine, transmission, whether you want to be more eco-friendly or more on the sporty side. Now the active sound noise is depending on how loud you want to hear your engine. So if it's strong, normal, soft, or even if you don't want to hear as much. Here we have the heads-up display, which you can go ahead and always change what you want for your heads-up display, or you can always change how high you want it, which I can showcase to you right now. So in this case, when we have that there for us, we can actually see it on screen where it says 0, and that's actually going to show if you have navigation pulled up, if you have someone in your blind spot, those are all going to be popped up on there for you. But you can go ahead and always change that if you wanted to when you go back to hit what you want in your heads-up display. Now as we go back, we can always change kind of what we want for the lights. So the ambient light is actually going to be seeing what we see inside of the vehicle. So whether you want to change that color to purple, ocean blue, or whatever you like, that's going to be your surrounding light. And as we go ahead and go back with this, you can actually change how you want to utilize your door as well as the trunk, which I can let you go ahead and play. Now if we happen, in this case, you would want smart trunk to be on. What I like to have this on, especially when you have a lot of things in your hand, you can actually go back to where the trunk is and the trunk lid will automatically open without you having a push of a button. So two more things before we actually make it back to the back seat is, again, we do have our menu button here, our home button to go back to home, as well as, again, a back button. So as we use our dial, when we go back up, again, we have our maps here, navigation menu, and if you happen to want to change this, all you would have to do is hold down on it, or even use the dial or push pad to actually go ahead and choose what you want as the main screen. And last but not least, what we can do, since we have all the doors closed and the car's on, is the wireless charging device. As long as you don't have a push pop or a heavily thick case on your phone, what we would want to do is go ahead and slide our phone into the slot right here. And right now, you know it's charging just based on the chai light being orange. In this case, once it's fully charged, that light is actually going to go ahead and turn green for you. With that being said, we'll actually move on to the back seat. And what we're going to also showcase is how to operate the DVD player. And right before we make it to the back, just so you're aware of where the DVD player is actually going to be once you open up your glove box. It's actually going to be underneath where you want to go ahead and push this up, and it's going to go ahead and drop down for you. And if this case you didn't want this, you can go ahead and push back up on it, wait till you hear that click, and go ahead and close up. Awesome. Well, let's make it onto the back and let's show you where everything is located. So right now we're not into the G90 Ultimate 5.0 all-wheel drive. Right now we're actually inside the 3.3 Premium. So with that being said, we're not going to actually see the buttons that would be in your 5.0, but I can go ahead and still discuss those buttons for you. So in your 5.0 Ultimate, you would actually have two screens right here for you at your own entertainment. So if you happen to have that, there would be two buttons on your display that says power left and power right. It doesn't showcase here, but it would be on this display. That being said, all these buttons will still be the same from your sunshade in the back. You're also going to have heated seats as well as ventilated seats in your 5.0 Ultimate. That being said, what you also get is your seatings for your back seat or for yourself in the back, which will be showcased here, which unfortunately at this time I'm not able to show you that. That being said, just like the front seating where you can actually set it to setting 1 and setting 2, there would be buttons here on the side to showcase passenger 1 or passenger 2 for you. Again, at this time it's not on this, but for your 5.0 Ultimate, the buttons will be right there for you. That being said, if you happen to want to go ahead and want your cups or anything that you would like, it would be here. And if we happen to want to pop this open, we would have our USB and our 12 volt right here. And with this as well, with your diode pad, you can actually still control everything from the front at your own convenience in the back. At this point in time, what we're actually going to showcase is the power closed doors, where they automatically close on itself. So what we're going to do is step outside, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that, so you don't have to worry about ever closing the door too hard. So let's go on and check that out. So with the power door closing, if you happen to have the door open, or whether you're inside and you accidentally let it close too soft, what's going to happen is the door is automatically going to close. So we're going to run that back one more time just so you can see it, which is an awesome feature in the Genesis. So we'll go ahead and do it again. We'll just slowly close it, and it automatically closes the door for you. So at this time, hopefully this was a well-informative Genesis G90 walkthrough. It didn't have everything, or I didn't want to go into more details about certain things just because we were already aware of when we test drove the G90. So once again, thank you for letting me have the opportunity to help serve you guys and have this opportunity to showcase the G90 on YouTube. Thank you.